King Arthur and His Knights. Today, we'll start reading the story titled Sir Balin and the Stroke Dolorous. Chapter 2, Sir Balin and the Stroke Dolorous. It happened that on a day King Arthur, wandering from his court, had fought and vanquished a valiant knight, but he himself had been sore wounded. Merlin, coming to his aid, had taken him to a hermit's cave, and there, with many marvelous salves, had searched his wounds, so that in 3 days the king was whole again. Riding forth together, Merlin led the king deeper and deeper into a wild and desolate country where he had never been before, and where there were no pathways. Arthur looked to and fro over the waste, but saw no sign of man or beast, and no bird flitted or piped. Great gaunt stones stood upright on the hillsides, solitary or in long lines as if they marched, or else they leaned together as if conspiring, while great heaps or cairns of stone rose here and there from the lichen-covered and rocky soil in which the grass grew weakly in small crevices. The mist now rose and drifted before them as they rode. The light was low and sallow, and the wind began to whisper shrilly among the great stones and in the crannies of the cairns. The king crossed himself and looked at the white, old, and wrinkled face of Merlin, but the wizard seemed sunk in thought. Then Arthur bethought him that, in case some fiend shape or wizard knight should assail him in that desolate waste, he could not defend himself, inasmuch as his sword, the sword he had drawn from the stone, had snapped when he fought the knight, and he had no other weapon with him. Merlin, he said, this is a place of ancient death and terror, and if aught should assail us of evil, I have no sword. For that reason I bring thee here, replied Merlin, and would not utter another word. Then through the mists which writhed and twisted as if they were fell shapes that would tear down the passing riders, Arthur became aware that their way was leading downward, and soon the smell of water rose up to him. He heard the beat and suck of waves upon a shore, and in a little while the mists cleared as if at a word, and there before him Arthur saw a lonely lake or sea, hedged round with salt-rimmed reeds and sedges, and stretching out its waters, dull and leaden-hued, to so great a distance that his eye could see no end. What is this place? He asked Merlin. It is the lake of the endless waters, said the wizard. Why bring ye to this desolate lake in the wilderness? You shall visit it once more ere you die, replied Merlin. But look you there in the midmost of the lake. Looking to where the wizard pointed, Arthur saw a great hand, clothed in white samite, stretching above the lapsing waves, and in its grasp was a long two-handed sword in a rich scabbard. With that, they saw a barge riding over the water, and it came without oars or any sail, and in the prow sat a woman, tall and comely, with a face lovely but sad. A frontlet of gold and pearls was bound about her rich red hair, and her robes of green samite fell about her as if they were reeds of the shore. What lady is that? Said the king. It is the lady of the lake, said Merlin, and she comes to you. Now therefore speak fair to her, and ask that she will give you that sword. Then the barge rasped among the reeds where Arthur sat on his horse, and the lady said, Greeting to you, O king. Greeting, fair damsel, replied Arthur. What sword is that which the arm holdeth above the water? I would it were mine, for I have none. Sir king, said the lady, that sword is mine. But if ye will give me a gift when I ask it of you, and will swear an oath to give me back the sword when ye shall be dying, then shall ye have it. By my faith, I will give ye the gift when ye shall desire, and when I am dying, I will truly give back the sword. Then do you step into this barge and row yourself onto the hand, and take from it the sword. And know ye that the name of that sword is Excalibur, and while you keep the scabbard by your side, ye shall lose no blood, be ye never so sore wounded." So King Arthur and Merlin alighted, tied their horses to two stunted trees, and went into the barge. The king turned to look to where the tall green lady had stood, but a moment before. Cut. The king turned to look where the tall green lady had stood but a moment before, and marveled to see that she had vanished. When they came to the sword with which the hand held, Arthur saw that the water where the hand rose forth was all troubled, and he could see naught. He took the sword by the handle, and the great fingers of the hand opened and then sank. So they came afterward to the land and rode on their way to Camelot, and reached it after many days. When King Arthur entered his hall and had been welcomed by his knights, the seneschal brought forth a messenger who had come from King Rhys of North Wales, and the man with insolent looks uttered this message: "My lord King Rhys hath but now discomfited and overwhelmed 7 kings, and each hath done him homage, and given him for a sign of their subjection their beard clean cut from their chins. And my lord hath caused a rich mantle to be hemmed with these kings' beards, and there yet lacketh one place. Wherefore my lord hath sent me to demand that ye give him homage, and send him thy beard also. Or else he will enter thy lands, and burn and slay and lay waste, and will not cease until he hath thy head as well as thy beard." "Now this is the most shameful message that any man sent to a king," said Arthur, "and thy king shall rue his villainous words." Then he laughed a little grimly. "Thou seest, fellow, that my beard is full young yet to make a hymn. So take this message back to thy master. If he will have it, he must wait till I grow older. But yet he shall not wait long before he sees me, and then shall he lose his head by the faith of my body, unless he do homage to me." So the messenger departed, and King Arthur set about the ordering of his army to invade the land of Rhys. Later on a day, when the king sat in council with his barons and knights, there came a damsel into the hall, richly beseen and of a fair countenance. She knelt at the feet of the king and said humbly, "O king, I crave a boon of ye, and by your promise ye shall grant it me." "Who are ye, damsel?" asked the king. "My lord, my lady mother has sent me, and she is the Lady of the Lake." "I remember me," said Arthur, "and thou shalt have thy boon." Whereat the damsel rose and let her mantle fall, that was richly furred, and then they saw that she was girded about the waist with a great sword. Marveling, the king asked, "Damsel, for what cause has she girded with that sword?" "My lord," said the damsel in distress and sadness, "this sword that I am girded withal doth me great sorrow and remembrance. For it was the sword of him I love most tenderly in all the world, and he hath been slain by falsest treachery by a foul knight, Sir Garlon, and never more shall I be joyful. But I would that my dear love be avenged by his own good sword, which my lady mother hath endowed with great enchantment. And the knight of thine that shall draw this sword shall be he who shall avenge my dear love. But he must be a clean knight, a good man of his hands and of his deeds, and without guile or treachery. If I may find such a knight, he shall deliver me of this sword out of the scabbard, and with it do vengeance for me." "This is a great marvel," said King Arthur, "and while I presume not to be such a knight as thou sayest, yet for ensample to my knights will I essay to draw the sword." Therewith the king took the scabbard and drew at the sword with all his strength, but in no wise could he make it come forth. "Sir," said the damsel, "ye need not draw half so hard, for lightly shall it come into the hands of him who shall draw it." Then the king bade all his knights to attempt this feat, and all tried their best, but it was of no avail. "Alas," said the damsel in great sadness, "and shall my dear love go unavenged, because there is no knight here who shall achieve this sword." She turned away through the crowd of knights who stood abashed about her and went toward the door. It happened that there was a poor knight in the court of King Arthur who had been a prisoner for a year and a day by reason of his having slain a kinsman of the king's. His name was Sir Balin the Hardy, and he was a good man of his hands, though needy. He had been but lately released from durance, and was standing privily in the hall and saw the adventure of the damsel with the sword, whereat his heart rose, both to do the deed for the sorrowing maid and because of her beauty and sadness. Yet being poor and meanly arrayed, he pushed not forward in the press. But as the damsel went toward the door, she passed him, and he said, Damsel, I pray you of your courtesy to suffer me as well to assay as these knights, for though I be poorly clothed, my heart seemeth fully assured that I may draw the sword, and thy sorrow moveth me. The damsel lifted her large sad eyes to him, and she saw he was goodly of form and noble of look, and her heart was stirred. Though ye be poor, worthiness and manhood are not in a man's rich raiment, and therefore, she said with a sorrowful smile, do you assay the sword also, good knight, and God speed you. Balin took the sword by the scabbard and drew it out easily, and when he looked upon the sword, it pleased him well. Then had the king and barons great marvel, but some of the knights had great spite against Balin. Truly, said the damsel, this is a passing good knight, and the best man of ye all, and many marvels shall he achieve. But now, gentle and courteous knight, she said, give me the sword again. Nay, this sword will I keep, said Balin. Ye are not wise, said the maiden sorrowfully. My lady mother sent the sword to find which was the knight the most worthy to rid the world of an evil knight that doeth his foul treacheries and murders by wizardry. But if ye keep the sword, it shall work great bane on you and on one you love most in this world. I shall take the adventure God shall ordain for me, said Balin, be it good or ill. The damsel looked sadly into his eyes and wept. I am passing heavy for your sake, she said. I repent that I have brought this to you, for I see you lying wounded unto death, and I shall not be near to comfort you. With that, the damsel departed in great sorrow. Anon, Balin sent for his horse and armor, and took his leave of King Arthur, who was almost wroth that he should depart upon a quest that promised but misfortune. He would have him stay with him in his court, but Balin would not, and so departed. For many days by lonely ways and through forest drives Sir Balin fared, seeking for the felon knight Sir Garlon, but nowhere could he get word of him. At length one night, as he made his way to a hermitage by the edge of a thick wood, he saw the arms of his younger brother, Sir Balin, hung upon a thorn before the holy man's door. Just then Sir Balin came out and saw him, and when he looked on Balin's shield, which had two crossed swords, he recognized his brother's device and ran to him, and they met and kissed each other. And that night they were happy together, for it had been a long time since they had parted, and each told the other his adventures. It seemeth then that this King Arthur is a right worshipful lord, said Balin, when his brother had told him the adventure of the damsel and the sword. But I doubt me he will not withstand King Rents and his host. Already that king hath come into this land and is harrying and burning. That were great pity, said Balin, and I would that I could do some deed to stay the power of Rents, who is evil-minded and of an arrogant nature. I would put my life in danger to win the love of the great Arthur and to punish King Rents for his shameful message. Let us go then tomorrow, said Balin, and try our prowess. King Rents lieth at the siege of the castle Terrabil, within 10 leagues of this place. I will well, said Balin, and if we slay King Rents, his people will go astray, and King Arthur shall easily make them yield. Next morning early they rode away through the gay woods, drenched with dew, which sparkled where the sunlight lit upon it. Long and lonely was the way, until toward evening they met with a poor old man on foot, ragged, lame, and dirty, and bearing a great burden. And we will bear up here and continue this story in the next video. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I hope you guys are enjoying the story. I love you, as Tigger says. Ta-ta for now.